the international basketball world forever.
Are you not entertained?
I'm not supposed to be cheering, but this is X Series. I can do whatever I want.
It all comes down to tonight. Don't miss the biggest night in MMA. PFL is more than a fight.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Looking to the end zone for the win! Oh my gosh, one of the great games you'll ever see.
It's their time. A night to remember.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
We are just over 24 hours away from it being Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Canelo Alvarez putting his 168-pound titles on the line against the young upstart Edgar Berlanga. Today, it is the weigh-in, and look at this. They just opened the gates a few minutes ago, and these fans sprinting, just trying to get as close as they can to their hero, Sergio Mora. and also Canelo and Edgar Berlanga. Several thousand fans already here sitting through this nice Vegas heat as we approach Mexican Independence Day weekend. A fight weekend that Canelo loves to fight on. My name is Todd Grisham. There's Daniel Jacobs, and this is the Latin Snake, Sergio Mora. Danny, 5.5 years ago, you fought Canelo. What does this week bring back as far as memories for you?
A lot of good memories. I mean, fighting Canelo Alvarez is the catapult of any sport that you can possibly fight in. And being here in Las Vegas, the mecca of boxing, you can't beat it. I'm happy for both fighters, but for Edgar Berlanga especially because he's the new kid on the block and he has so much to prove.
Yeah, Edgar Berlanga has to somehow get into Canelo's head. He's been trying to do it all week. You fought Danny Jacobs. I know you tried to play some mind games during the weigh-in. How did that go with him?
Well, actually, the mind games were pretty good because when we weighed in, Danny looked drained. He looked dehydrated. Then he went into the ring. He hydrated like a light heavyweight. Yeah. I knew I was in trouble once I was in the ring. But yeah, during the dehydration, I loved it.
All right, well, let's talk about the fight itself, Daniel. We got Canelo Alvarez facing Edgar Berlanga, a heavy hitter, 16 straight fights with 16 first-round knockouts to begin his career. Seemed like he slid down a little bit. He finished pretty strong in his last fight, getting a KO win. What do you expect from him against Canelo?
Well, I expect for him to bring the funk, to bring the pain, to bring as much as he feel like he can do. I feel like he's a puncher with a great opportunity to get knockouts. Obviously, the record speaks for itself. But with an experienced guy like Canelo, it's going to be hard to do. But I'm rooting for him for the simple fact that he has that New York, Brooklyn charismatic energy. He's very confident in himself, and he believes in what he can do come Saturday night.
Has Canelo's style changed much since you fought him? I mean, could you give the blueprint to beating him?
Well, you know what? To be honest, I do feel like Canelo's style has tweaked just a little bit over the years. And that may be age, that may be wear and tear, who knows. But Canelo fights in spurts a little bit. And towards the 6th round up, he fights with not the same velocity that he starts out with. And so if Edgar Berlanga could stick it out, maybe he can do something that'll shock the fans.
No, I get exactly what you're saying, Daniel, because if you're going to get on Canelo, you want to get out of the early rounds because Berlanga has that big power. I mean, 16 straight first-round knockouts. Some of the biggest punchers in boxing haven't been able to do that. So he has the power, he has the eraser, and he has the confidence. Anytime you're young, and he's a lot younger, he's a lot bigger, a lot stronger, He can bring all that to the table, find lightning in the bottle in one night, but he has to do it in the mid-rounds, get out of the early rounds.
Well, let's take a look at some of the other fights on the card, and there's some pretty good ones coming to you live from the T-Mobile Arena tomorrow night live here on DAZN. Rolly Romero is back in a very tough fight, says Sergio Mora. Caleb Plant and the seemingly overmatched Trevor McCumby. And then it's Lara facing a returning Danny Garcia from a 2-year break. He can come back and win a world title. And then it's, of course, Canelo versus Edgar. Danny, which one of the other 3 fights in the card has you most amped?
What has me most amped is the Danny Garcia versus Lara fight. I'm fans of both guys, actually both friends of mine. So to see Danny come back from such a long layover and have this opportunity to potentially win another world championship is very big for him. But also for Lara to be able to continue his streak in the middleweight championship. It's just a great fight for me. But stylistic-wise, it's going to be a fan favorite fight.
Oh, listen, man, I'm a big fan of Lara and Garcia. That's probably one of the fights that's going to be the most unexpected. I mean, Lara is 41 years old, Garcia's 36 years old, but they know how to fight like veterans. Never been knocked down, fought the absolute best in boxing. That's a sneaky good fight right there.
Well, let me tell you something. Lara used to be known as kind of a boring fighter, a sick and move guy. Now all of a sudden at age 41, he's slowed down. He plants himself, and he's knocked out 4 of his last 5 fighters. He's had a renaissance to change his style like that. How difficult is that, Dan?
Well, as both of us know, who's now officially retired, as you start to get older, your body starts to take a toll on you, and you start to change your style to be able to best suit what you can do inside the ring. And so for Lara, I feel like he needs to be able to put that experience together, come in with a very youthful Danny Garcia, and put it all together to make, hopefully, an exciting fight.
I'll tell you what happens, Todd, is, look, all great boxers, once they get old, they have to turn into sluggers. I mean, the great Pernell Whitaker, later in his career, he started sitting down more, and he could take a big shot. Later in their career, every fighter, they start losing their legs, so they have to adapt. They have to evolve into something else because they can't move like they did when they were 20. That's what happened with Lara. Garcia's a flat-footed guy, but he's really quick on the trigger with the left hooks. Lara's going to have to be very sharp for 12 rounds. I don't care how stationary, how great of a boxer. That's a sneaky, sneaky, damn good fight.
Yeah, and it's very interesting to see which the winner will be like, of course I was going to win. How could you not know I was going to win? Vice versa. So those are the kind of fights we like, 50-50. We're way up here in the cool shade. Let's get a little closer to the action down by the stage where the men will be weighing in just a few moments and check in with Large.
Hey everybody, it's Large from Barstool Sports and welcome to the official weigh-in. I'm standing here, boots on the ground outside of T-Mobile Arena. I'm going to be interviewing some fighters, some promoters to get their reactions after the weigh-ins. But before that, I spent a little bit of time with Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez. Let's check that out.
I'm a 53-year-old father of 3. What the am I doing? This is what I did for you today. Is that something else? Yeah.
Is Brazil?
Yep.
All right, so we just wrapped the press conference for Berlanga versus Canelo Alvarez. I'm about to go downstairs to the basement of MGM and have a one-on-one with the champ, and I'm going to let Canelo know just how much his opponent had assaulted me when I visited Mountain, Colorado. And let's try to make this fight a little bit more personal. And I'm telling you, this is shaping up to be a hell of a banger, so make sure you tune into the DAZN pay-per-view on Saturday night. Let's get it on. This guy needs no introduction. It's Canelo Alvarez. He's the best super middleweight in the world. He's going to prove it again on Saturday. Canelo, you notice anything different about me today?
What happened with you?
That's what I want to talk to you about. So I go into camp with Berlanga. By the way, very nice guy. Seemingly nice guy. Go to the gym with him. Strong as an ox. Strong kid and the whole deal. Go back to the house he's staying at. I meet his family. They're all very lovely. I do the interview. As the interview gets done, he says, "Show me the tattoo." I said, "Oh, the one of my wife?" He's like, "No, the other one." So I take down my thing. I show him the Canelo tattoo, which you know I got last time. And he hits me, whack, right on it. You know how wide I am.
Yeah.
So right away, I swell up. I got a picture of him. I'm going to show it to you right now. So the question I'm going to ask you, I think I tore my rotator cuff. Yeah. You can't have that happen, right? To like your number one fan.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to win this for Mexico, if you're not going to win this,
I'm going to win. What you
I'm saying about? If you need the motivation, and the motivation is not to win for Mexico, if the motivation is not to win for your family,
for you,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, can you do something? What are you going to do to this guy now that you know he's done it?
Now he's personal.
Assaulted.
Now it's personal to me,
right?
Because of you, buddy.
Absolutely, that's all that I need.
I got you.
Best of luck with this, and I will see you next fight.
Glad to see Large is okay after that slap to the back. We'll be checking in with Large throughout the afternoon. But let's talk about how Berlanga has approached Canelo this week verbally. He's gotten under his skin, and Canelo has said things to his face as in, like, don't you understand? You're just going to be a piece of cake to me, and I'm going to give you a beating of a lifetime. He doesn't like to talk trash, but he's doing it this time. Do you believe that Canelo's just going to go in there and blast this guy out?
I don't believe he's going to go out there and blast him out. I do believe he's going to try to figure him out, because he's going to have that power to have to be worried about when it comes to the young, brash Edgar Berlanga. He's a guy that comes in, I mean, the record speaks for itself, so the fact that he has so much power and skill, maybe not so much the experience, but the power for sure, Canelo has to be on his P's and Q's, in my opinion.
No, every time you have power, you have to watch out. I mean, Canelo is a veteran. He has a chin. No one's been able to drop him. He's never been knocked out. But power is power, as you clearly know, Daniel. But Berlanga is confident in his power. I mean, 16 straight first-round knockouts. Some of the biggest power punchers in history haven't been able to do that. That's impressive. He brings that confidence and that swagger, and like you mentioned, that New York swag into the building. So if he believes in himself, he believes in his power, that magic eraser, who could doubt him?
Well, Caleb Plant believes in himself. You remember when he fought Canelo, he's like, hey, I'm pretty good, right? I'm better than he thought I was before getting knocked out. He's got Trevor McCumby tomorrow night. Sergio, you are not impressed with that opponent.
No, McCumby reminds me of another undefeated opponent that a Plant fought in Mike Lee. You know, the Subway guy.
Yeah.
The Subway guy. No, this guy does not belong with a fighter like Caleb Plant. If there's going to be a mismatch, it's going to be this one. I mean, I think Trevor is not fast. He's not powerful. He doesn't have good upper body movement. He's going to shock the world. I think if he beats Caleb Plant, it'll be a bigger shock than if Berlanga beats Canelo Alvarez. That's just my opinion.
What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I agree as well. Total mismatch. I think if Plant wants to continue the streak and climb up to the ranks to where he can become a champion again, this guy is definitely not the way to go. But maybe the guy might bring something we never know. You know, I always give a fighter's chance. But from a fighter fan's perspective, I don't think this is a good look for Clem.
Hey, Rolly Romero's back as well. He's always entertaining. Just there's a buzz and an aura around him. But lately it seems like there's more flash than substance. Sergio, how much trouble is he in tomorrow?
I think he's going to be in some trouble, man. If there's going to be an upset, I think this is it. Because, look, when it comes to Rolly Romero, he's been knocked out brutally in 2 of his last 3 fights. And he probably lost the one that he won. So this guy's on a bad streak. Knockouts like that, you can't just shake off. Those were brutal knockouts by brutal punchers like Tank Davis. I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening tomorrow because he's in with a sneaky, damn good fighter.
And he's a fan favorite of mine. I'm going to be biased because I actually like Ramirez. I think he's a good guy, a great fighter with an exciting style. It'll be interesting to see him come back from such a loss with those 2 knockouts that he received, but I do think that he can go in there and be able to do what most fighters and most fans believe he can.
All right, let's go back down towards the stage where Large is with the legend herself, Claudia Trejos.
All right, everybody, I'm here with one of my favorite people in the boxing world. It's Miss Claudia Trejos. Claudia, I have one question and one question only for you. How do you see the main event going down?
Quick answer, don't blink between the 6th and the 8th. That's all I got to say. Don't blink.
That's the call from Claudia. Do not blink between the 6th and the 8th. That's short but sweet. Back to you guys.
That was short but sweet. If you had to go make a wager right now and pick the round, or does it go the distance, what do you think about the main event?
I think he gets knocked out. I think Berlanga, maybe even in the 6th, 7th round. I just don't see him having the championship experience to go into the second half with one of the best fighters in the world. I mean, if you look at his resume, it's not there. He's lucky to get this opportunity. He has power. He did everything they asked of him. But is he ready? The odds are against him.
Well, I'm going to say that I, obviously being a New York native and a fan of Berlanga, I'm going to say that I do believe that he can take it to the 12th round. I do believe Canelo has the ability with the experience that he has to maybe stop him later in the fight. But I'm hoping and wishing that Berlanga makes the best of this experience that he has, because his fighting style is an aggressive style. He comes forward, he has massive power, overhand rights, he hits off the block. But the only issue for me is his chin. He's been down as an amateur, he's been down as a professional, and one thing that Canelo can do is bug out where you're not good at. He can definitely determine whether or not you're going to be in there for 12 rounds. So Canelo Alvarez be the determining factor of what he decides he wants to do in that ring.
It's going to come down to chin. I mean, power is sexy. Power is great. Everyone loves knockouts. But can you take a punch? That's the biggest thing. I love when Floyd Mayweather says you need this, and you need heart.
Yeah.
We know that he has heart. We know that he has power. He says he has a fight IQ, but can he take the punch from Canelo? That's going to be the difference here. I just don't see it.
And not only that, how is he going to handle the bright lights that a Canelo fight brings? Sure, he's been in some pretty big fights on ESPN, but nothing close to the magnitude of this. I mean, Danny, how did a Canelo fight week feel different than other fight weeks you've had?
It felt like I was a part of a movie. I mean, it was the biggest atmosphere. It was the biggest fight that I've ever took part in. And I've been in some pretty big fights, but there's something about Canelo Alvarez that he brings to the table with the fans. This his style, what he's able to do inside that ring. I mean, he's a master inside there. And so it's very deserving that he can continuously have the success that he's had because he's a masterclass fighter. And I'm happy to be a part of this event to see such a good style.
You got to check that adrenaline. You got to check that because I remember clearly, Daniel, when you're face off with Canelo after the weigh-in, how hyped you were. It was uncharacteristic, if you remember.
Yeah, you tried to fight him, didn't you?
I did.
And I was like, well, first of all, one, don't mess up your money. And second, that wasn't like you, but the moment got you. The adrenaline got you. And you think maybe that's going to happen to Berlanga?
I think the thing about Canelo and Berlanga when it comes to the heart and Berlanga believing in himself is that he has to know he belongs. And so you get to a point where you start to see the lights, the cameras, the action, and you see the best fighter that you've ever fought in your life. It could get to you that very second. But prior to the fight, you can believe all of the things you're going to do. Like Mike Tyson said it best, you know, once you get hit, the game plan changes the whole game. And so I'm hoping Berlanga can actually stick through it to 12 rounds.
Just to use a golfing analogy, me and you play a lot. That 3-footer putt you're nervous over for the $5. I mean, imagine Berlanga standing in front of Canelo Alvarez before that first bell, knowing everybody almost wants him to lose and expects him to lose.
No, I don't think that's going to happen with him. One, because he has power, he believes in himself, and he's a Brooklyn bad boy. He's from New York. These guys got swag. They have that confidence. What's that? He thinks who he is. That's what they say in New York. He thinks who he is. He believes in himself. And when you've got that magic power, I mean, anything's possible.
And how about this being Mexican Independence Day weekend? Thousands of fans have arrived. Let's send it to the stage for the weigh-ins.
Outside T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Canelo Promotions presents our public weigh-in for tomorrow's stacked PBC pay-per-view event on Prime Video. We celebrate this Mexican Independence Day weekend, adding another chapter to the historic Mexico versus Puerto Rico rivalry as Saul Canelo Alvarez defends his unified super middleweight world titles against the hard-hitting Edgar Berlanga. It is all brought to you by Canelo Promotions and TGB Promotions in association with Matchroom Boxing. Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. VMC Tequila Cocktails, El Origen Ante Todo. The Joker, Foley Ado, in theaters October 4th. El Mexicano brand products bringing authentic sabor to your table. Somos El Mexicano. And O'Reilly Auto Parts, professional parts people. Now, before we get into our pay-per-view portion of the card, we have our PBC Prime Video prelims that will be streaming tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. Now, let's introduce the bout that will be headlining those prelims, a 10-round featherweight attraction. Introducing first with the record of 30 victories, including 14 by knockout, opposite of 2 defeats. Fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, by way of Sonora, Mexico. He is on a 3-fight win streak. Here is Carlos Castro. Once again, Carlos Castro. And now let's bring up his opponent with a record of 21 victories, including 8 wins by knockout and just 1 blemish. Proudly representing Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he is the former unified super bantamweight world champion, Cool Boy Stephen Fulton Jr. Once again, Cool Boy Stephen Fulton Jr. All right, we are now ready for both fighters to step onto the scales. Stepping onto the scale first, once again, out of Phoenix, Arizona, Carlos Castro. $125.6 for Castro. And now let's welcome his opponent, stepping onto the scale, once again, the former champion, Cool Boy Stephen Fulton Jr. 126 on the dot for Cool Boy Steph. Ten rounds in the featherweight division in the headlining bout for our PBC Prime Video Prelims. It is Carlos Castro against Cool Boy Stephen Fulton Jr. All right, I'm going to bring Carlos over here as he prepares for tomorrow night's bout. Carlos, you have fought some big names in the sport, and you're going to be adding another former champion to your resume, and Stephen Fulton. What does a win over a guy like Fulton with his resume do for your career?
A win means a lot, man. It'll do a lot. You know, it'll put me in the spot that I always wanted to be, and it'll put me in the spot that I deserve to be.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for Carlos Castro. And now we'll bring over Cool Boy as we are set to go for tomorrow. Stephen Fulton Jr., you are back. You've been excited. You've been waiting for this moment. New division. But again, you're looking to add another legacy to your legacy with the world champion. But first, you got to get through Carlos Castro. What type of statement are you looking to make in this new division?
I want knockouts throughout the division. I beat many champions that's already champion in the division already. So that's what I'm looking forward towards Saturday. And hopefully everybody come out here and we put on a hell of a performance to start the whole pay-per-view card off. So let's get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for Cool Boy Stephen Fulton Jr. Once again, our PBC Prime Video Prelims will start tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific, inside the T-Mobile Arena. And now it is time to turn things over to the Hall of Famer, Mr. Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Toshiba Plaza here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We are in the shadows of the T-Mobile Arena, the site of tomorrow night's Mexican Independence Weekend boxing celebration. Of course, our main event of the evening is the unified super middleweight championship of the world in a classic boxing showdown of Mexico versus Puerto Rico as Canelo Promotions and Premier Boxing Champions present a PBC pay-per-view on Prime event and our ceremonial weigh-in. Y a todos mis amigos mexicanos, bienvenidos aficionados al box, al pesaje ceremonial de nuestra gran noche del boxeo en una celebración de la Día de la Independencia de México. Well, fans, our opening pay-per-view attraction features 10 rounds of boxing with knockout artists in the super lightweight division. First, please welcome to the stage at this time from Stockton, California. He's a hard-hitting super lightweight contender. Here is Romero-Jaimes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to the stage at this time in this 10-round special attraction from Las Vegas. Please welcome the former WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Rolando "Rolly" Romero. And now, fans, let's bring our fighters to the scale at this time. 10 rounds of boxing, super lightweight special attraction. First to the scale with a record of 16 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the battle-ready Romero-Jaimes. 139 3/4 pounds, 139 3/4 for Romero-Jaimes. And now we invite to the scale with a record of 15 wins, 2 losses, 13 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently world-ranked contender. He is the colorful former champion of the world, Rolando "Rolly" Romero. 140 3/4 pounds, 140 3/4 pounds for Rolly Romero. And now we get an opportunity to hear from our fighters in our opening pay-per-view attraction. Please welcome to the microphone respected boxing host and commentator, Ray Flores. Let's bring our fighters a face-off, then we'll hear from Ray with their Q&A session. Pardon me?
Sergio, you think this one has upset written all over it. What do you think?
I do, man. I like Manuel-Jaimes, the way that he squares up and sometimes punches from southpaw stance. He loops punches, which is what Romero's vulnerable to. Romero has a lot of power, but he keeps the chin up in the air, and that's his style. I mean, he's either going to knock you out or he's going to get knocked out. 2 of his last 3 fights, he's been knocked out pretty brutally. I think physical fights are taking a toll. Jaimes has an excellent chance in this fight.
Manuel, this is the biggest stage in which you have fought on. You're seeing an amazing crowd here in Las Vegas. 1 day away, what does this mean to you?
This means everything. Like you said, it's the biggest stage. Don't get no bigger than this. I need this win. It's just going to catapult my career. I need this win. See my family back there? You got their heads back there. Hey.
How do you extend your win streak to 5 against the former world champion in Rolly Romero?
I'm just do what I do. I'm a great boxer myself. People keep underestimating me, don't know who I am, and they're going to know Saturday.
What's your prediction?
Vamos a ganar. Yeah.
Manuel-Jaimes, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are joined alongside by the former WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Rolly Romero. Rolly, great to see you. As we take a look at this amazing crowd, I'm looking at your face. You're very focused. Is it fair to say that you have flipped the switch and are ready for tomorrow night?
Yeah, just ready for tomorrow night. You know, we're going to do this tomorrow.
How much does this fight mean to you as you are looking to get back into the win column?
It means everything. You know, we're here to win.
What's your prediction for tomorrow night, Rolly?
Knockout.
Rolando Romero predicting a knockout. Give it up for the former WBA super lightweight champion of the world, Rolly Romero. Jimmy, back to you.
Thank you, Ray. Good job. We'll hear from Ray Flores for all 4 of the pay-per-view attractions tomorrow night. We'll hear from all the fighters, and we have a good one coming up. Well, fans from the Toshiba Plaza here at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, we continue with our weigh-in, and we bring out our first world title attraction at this time. Please welcome the fighters as they make their way to the stage. First, joining us from Glendale, California, by way of Yorkville, Illinois, please welcome the undefeated world-ranked super middleweight contender, Trevor McCumby. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we invite to the stage his opponent. Fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, by way of Nashville. He's a former world champion. Please welcome the former IBF super middleweight champion of the world, Caleb Plant. All right, fans, here we go. It's scale to the scale. Weight limit is 168 pounds. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the WBA interim super middleweight world title. First up, we have the undefeated fighter. His record 28-0 with 21 knockouts. Please welcome the undefeated world rank contender, Trevor McCumby. $167 1/4 pounds, 167 1/4 pounds for Trevor McCumby. And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent 22-2 with 2 losses, 13 of his wins coming by way of knockout. He is the current world rank contender and the popular former super middleweight champion of the world, Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant weighs in the same as his opponent, 167 1/4 pounds, 167 1/4. There they are, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of emotion in this fight. 12 rounds of boxing. With the interim WBA Super Middleweight World Championship, Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCumby.
Tomorrow night. Over your lights. You gotta interview. Over your lights. You gotta interview.
All right, we are joined alongside by the undefeated Trevor McCumby. Trevor, it is clear that there is bad blood between you two. How satisfying of a win would this be for you over Caleb Plant tomorrow night?
It's going to be huge. He's a bitch, so I don't think anybody here likes him.
How do you get the job done over the former IBF super middleweight champion of the world?
I'm going to break him down. I'm going to cave him in.
And your prediction for tomorrow night against Caleb Plant?
Fireworks, and my hand is going to be raised.
Ladies and gentlemen, the undefeated Trevor McCumby. Now we are joined alongside by Caleb Plant, the former IBF super middleweight champion of the world. The fans love you here in Las Vegas. You're a throwback fighter. Caleb, can you tell us about the words that were exchanged in that final face-off between you and Trevor McCumby?
I told him tomorrow night's his last night. The gig is up. It's time to get the fuck out of here.
You have said from the beginning of this training camp, the revenge tour. What does that mean?
First stop, getting that WBA interim title put around my waist, and then, bigger and better from there. I want to say shout out to my fans, shout out to all my vaqueros out there. Salute, I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the former IBF super middleweight champion of the world, Caleb Plant. Jimmy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Ray Flores. Talented Ray Flores getting the most out of our fighters here this afternoon. And that's a big one. A lot of emotion, a heated showdown in the super middleweight division. Well, fans, once again from the Toshiba Plaza here in the shadows of the T-Mobile Arena, we move along, continue our way in. We are moving up to our co-main event of the evening. Please welcome the fighters as they make their way to the stage. First, ladies and gentlemen, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, he is the well-known and respected former unified super lightweight world champion and the former WBC welterweight champion of the world. Please welcome Danny Swift Garcia. Okay, thank you. Yeah, got it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, his opponent is the defending champion, fighting out of Miami by way of Guantanamo, Cuba. He is the two-division and current WBA middleweight champion of the world. Please welcome Erislandi, the American Dream, Lara. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to bring our fighters to the scale. 160 pounds is the weight limit. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World. First, we present and bring our challenger to the scale. With a record of 37 wins and 3 losses, 21 of his wins have come by way of knockout. He'll be making his middleweight debut. He is the challenger. Please welcome the renowned two-division champion of the world, Danny Swift Garcia. Danny Garcia weighs in at 156 1/4 pounds. 156 1/4 pounds. And now we invite the defending champion to the scale with a record of 30 wins, 3 losses and 3 draws. 18 of his wins come by way of knockout. He'll be making the 3rd defense of his title. Please welcome the current WBA middleweight champion of the world, Erislandi, the American Dream, Lara. Erislandi Lara weighs in at 156 3/4 pounds, 156 3/4.
Erislandi Lara and Danny Garcia. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Sergio?
I think it's an evenly matched fight. They've both been inactive. They both are former champions. They've both never been knocked out. believe it or not, people can look at the cons of this, like, yeah, the inactivity, these guys are past their prime. I'm looking at the positives, man, the half glass full. Garcia's a power puncher. Lara's become more of a puncher instead of a boxer. I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
For the WBA middleweight championship of the world, it is Lundy, the American Dream, Lara, defending his title against the renowned and now challenger, former world champion Danny Swift Garcia. Now let's hear from both of our fighters. Once again, hand over the Q&A session to Ray Flores.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, alongside the two-division world champion, Danny Garcia, making his middleweight debut. Danny, how do you feel here at 160 pounds?
I feel great. You know, to me, I'm chasing greatness, going for my third division, and this is what the great fighters do. They go up in weight and chase greatness, and that's why I'm here today, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow.
You have beaten the who's who in the sport, two-division world champion, as you mentioned. But if you get your hand raised tomorrow night and become a three-division world champion, would that be the biggest accomplishment in your storied career?
Yeah, definitely. When I turned pro, my dream was always to be a three-division world champion. You know, two's good. Two puts you in that category, but three puts you in the Hall of Fame. And that's why I'm here. It's a historic fight for me and for the fans all around the world. If you know Danny Garcia, you know what I bring to the table.
How do you get the job done tomorrow night? What's your prediction for your matchup against Landy Lara?
You know, I just got to go in there and beat me. Beat Danny Garcia, go in there, set the tempo, have fun, make adjustments, and weather the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Philadelphia, Danny Garcia. Now we are with the WBA middleweight champion of the world, Landy Lara. Landy, you've won 3 straight fights by way of knockout. Do you believe that you have the power to knock out Danny Garcia?
Landy ha ganado 3 peleas seguidas por knockout. ¿Se viene la cuarta contra Danny Garcia?
Bueno, sinceramente no sé si se va a hacer la cuarta. Sé que va a terminar feo.
Look, I don't know if it's going to be the 4th, but I do know this fight is going to have an ugly ending.
Do you believe that he will not be as comfortable as he is here at 160? You fought here in the middleweight division. You're world champion. You've had several defenses. But do you think that the weight will be an issue for him in this matchup against you?
Sos un veterano de las 160 libras, mientras que él es nuevo en esto. ¿Sentís que lo va a incomodar el aumento de peso y que va a ser una ventaja para vos?
Bueno, no va a ser una ventaja. Solamente lo que hay que trabajar fuerte el día de mañana. Y creo que es el momento de no hablar tanto y resolver el problema.
I don't think it's going to be any sort of advantage, and it's time to stop talking. It's time to start working. Tomorrow night is going to be a great fight. Tune in.
You are also boxing's oldest current world champion. How much does that mean for you to be able to outlast a lot of the guys that you began in the sport with?
Bueno, sos el campeón más veterano del boxeo en la actualidad. ¿Qué significa para vos el poder haber tenido una carrera más extensa que muchos de los que con los que vos llegaste al boxeo?
Bueno, significa mucho, ¿no? Significa mucho, ya que he hecho muchas cosas aquí en el boxeo ya profesional. Creo que significa mucho para mí y la victoria de mañana va a ser 100% un logro más.
It means a lot to me because being in pro boxing is hard enough, and tomorrow it's going to be one more victory under my belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, the WBA middleweight champion of the world, Landy Lara. Jimmy, back to you.
Thank you, Ray. Once again, that's our co-main event of the evening, WBA Middleweight Championship of the World, reminding you that our pay-per-view event begins at 9 p.m. But, of course, there's lots of fights before that. We go on live on Prime at 3 p.m., and we have fights even before that. So if you're a true boxing fan, show up early. There's a lot to see. Of course, we're leading up to bring out our fighters for the main event of the evening. But we have a little bit of a break as we are preparing something a little special. I know you're disappointed, but you won't be disappointed once you see what we have in store for you as we lead up to the entrance and the official weigh-in for the main event of the evening, the Unified Super Middleweight Championship of the World. Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga. Coming up next, we're going to take a few minutes, not too long, and then we'll bring out our fighters.
Brian Campbell back with you in the midst of the humanity here outside T-Mobile Arena.
You can see the fans have showed up in force. So much for that UFC fight down at the Sphere, affecting the enthusiasm surrounding the Canelo-Alvarez fight. These fans are very passionate as we count down the seconds until we see Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez face off for the final time before their fight tomorrow night right here at T-Mobile Arena. Todd Grisham, the Latin Snake Sergio Mora, and our special guest Daniel Jacobs. The final face-off is about to happen. Do you remember when you fought Canelo and you stared down with him for the final time? What happened?
Yeah, so I could have imagined at that time that I was possibly just thinking to myself, just be as focused as you possibly can. This guy is probably one of the toughest guys you've ever fought. You know, he's experienced in the field that he's experienced in. But ultimately, I was talking to myself to try to convince myself that you got what it takes to be a victor in the fight.
No, I told him off camera, I said, that's the most enthusiastic, like adrenaline was going through your body, but it was unlike you. It was uncharacteristic when you were facing Canelo. You were like, the energy went through you, but I think it took a little bit too much from you in the weigh-in. And then in the fight, of course, you boxed an excellent fight, but the weigh-in, it was all adrenaline. It was like, wow, come on
well,
now.
You know the saying is, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. And if you don't have the confidence to go inside, sometimes you got to pump yourself up to get there.
And that's what I was telling Todd, the fact that Berlanga believes in himself. If he believes in himself, he believes in his power. Yeah. He's not intimidated. I mean, in the face-off yesterday at the press conference, they were going eye to eye. I love those face-offs, especially from a young buck like Berlanga.
Well, we will soon see how Edgar Berlanga faces off against Canelo for the final time. That's just minutes away, but right now, a look at what's to come here on DAZN. We welcome you back here, Team
Latinos. But yeah, this is definitely one of these big events.
I agree myself. And some of the best events I've ever been to has been fighting a Mexican fighter, especially Canelo Alvarez was the pinnacle of boxing, right? Everybody wants to get to the point where they can be at this level, but the Mexican fans, to me, are the best fans in boxing.
And the proof is in the pudding, as they say. It is very hot out here. We're lucky enough to be in the shade. Those guys are roasting, but I see plenty of cervezas being sold at a very high amount of money. I know, Sergio, you've already gotten a note from your bank saying you spent too much money this week, so hopefully Daniel can take care of us after this. That's a true story, is it not?
Yeah, it is a true story. Lend me some money, Danny.
Roulette has not been kind to Sergio Mora. So Edgar Berlanga getting set to make the walk for the biggest moment of his life. Sergio, when you were making the walk for the contender with $1 million on the line, 12 million viewers, where was your headspace?
I'll tell you what, I tuned all that out. You know, there's certain fighters that really enjoy that walk. They relish the walk. They smile. They look around. They absorb it. Not me, man. I was broke. I had insufficient funds. I wanted the $1 million.
Just like now.
So I want to go straight into the ring and take care of business. I was focused, man. There were so many celebrities. My opponent, on the other hand, he was shaking hands with celebrities and he was hugging James Caan and Sylvester Stallone. It didn't work out well for him.
All right, well, let's go back downstairs one more time. Claudia Trejos standing by.
Hello, everybody. Well, I'm looking forward to a great main event tomorrow. We know Garcia-Lara is going to be with us in the undercard, but Canelo Alvarez is coming in with a vengeance at this weight where he's very comfortable. And he reminded us who the king is here in Las Vegas with this crowd. And let's not forget, this crowd is going to be giving him all the support tomorrow. And that makes a big difference because Edgar Berlanga has never been at a stage of this magnitude. And let's not forget, Canelo has more knockouts than Berlanga has fights. And as a matter of fact, we were having this conversation with Berlanga about his weight training and how he gets to be this massive, which could work against him. So he is keen on having his work done in the first 4 rounds to make sure Canelo feels his power. With that being said, Canelo knows exactly how to neutralize that power, and that is hitting in the arms. And we know for a fact that he has been working on that. We had the opportunity to speak to a couple of his sparring partners as we went to Lake Tahoe, and that's exactly what he's working, bringing the defense and working the body. So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing those first 4 rounds.
Great information, Claudia. Let's go back to the stage and Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Welcome to the stage. First, the challenger, proudly representing his Puerto Rican heritage and hailing from Brooklyn, New York. He'll be making his first attempt at a world title. Please welcome the battle-ready world-ranked challenger, introducing the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga. And now, ladies and gentlemen, el orgulloso guerrero de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, the 4-division world champion, boxing's first undisputed super middleweight champion, and the current popular unified super middleweight champion of the world, Canelo Alvarez. All right, fans, here we go. Let's bring our fighters to the scale. Weight limit is 168 pounds. For the main event of the evening, 12 rounds of boxing for the unified super middleweight championship of the world. First, we present the challenger to the scale. Undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 22 wins, no losses, 17 big wins coming by way of knockout. He is the challenger. Here is the hard-hitting, battle-ready knockout artist introducing the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga weighs in at 167 1/2 pounds. 167 1/2 pounds. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the defending world champion and the superstar of boxing with a record of 61 wins, only 2 losses and 2 draws, with 39 wins coming by way of knockout. He'll be making his 26th world title appearance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the reigning and defending unified super middleweight champion of the world, Saul Canelo Alvarez. 166 3/4 pounds. 166 3/4 pounds for the defending world champion.
Here we go, Sergio. You can tell a lot from what happens in the final face-off. Will Berlanga get up in Canelo's face?
This is a moment right now. I mean, look, yesterday was the anger. Now it's time, man. Berlanga knows that it's time now. He's in there with someone he can't intimidate, someone that's never been knocked out, never been dropped. This is a big mountain for Berlanga, but he's up for the task and he's definitely confident.
12 rounds. Unified Super Middleweight Championship of the World, Mexico versus Puerto Rico. Saul Canelo Alvarez versus the chosen one, Edgar Berlanga.
The eyes, Chico, they never lie. Todd, look at the eyes, man. Berlanga, no one's giving him a chance in this fight. He's a major underdog, but the eyes don't lie, man. Look at that. That kid believes in himself, believes in his power. Canelo's been there, done that. He knows he's a legend. He's going to have to be a legend slayer tomorrow night.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to hear from both of our fighters. We're going to hear from the challenger and the champion. We'll begin with the challenger, Edgar Berlanga. I'll hand over the duties to Ray Flores.
Thank you very much, Jimmy. Well, Edgar, you have always craved a moment like this. Now that we are a day away from the biggest fight of your career, being in this atmosphere, your final face-off with Canelo, what did you take away from that stare down?
Shit, it's a war tomorrow. Puerto Rico versus Mexico. Vamos arriba, Puerto Rico en la casa, puñeta, como siempre. ¿Me entiendes? Viva Puerto Rico, puñeta. Mañana es guerra. Me gusta esto. I love all this right here, man. It's all fuel for me, man. It's all fuel. I belong here. You hear me? I belong here. And I'm ready for it. Jesus is king. God is king. And Jesus Christ gonna get the glory, man.
How big of a win would this be, not only for you, but also you are very proud of your Puerto Rican heritage, but for the entire country of Puerto Rico?
Oh, man, this is legendary right here. This is history. You know, tomorrow's history, man. All of this right here, none of this shit don't faze me, man. You know, this comes with it, you know. So I got to continue. I got to be great tomorrow. That's all. You know, give God the glory, and it's going to be written, man. It's our story tomorrow. You know, it's Canelo's show, but like always, man, we coming in to kick the door and destroy the party, man.
You're 22-0. How do you get to 23-0 and upend the great Saul Canelo Alvarez?
Knockout. And then the rematch, we bringing it to New York. The rematch, we bringing it to New York. Puerto Rican Day weekend.
Finally, Edgar, what do you want to tell all the fans out there that'll be watching around the world and those here at T-Mobile Arena?
You want me to be honest? I love y'all, man. Thank y'all for everything, man. I love y'all. You hear me? I love you guys. All the haters, all the supporters, I love y'all, man. You know, y'all just make us great. You know, Jesus is king. God is king. And tomorrow, he's going to be king tomorrow, man. I love you guys. Thank y'all for the support.
Good luck to Edgar Berlanga tomorrow night. Good luck to you, sir. We look forward to seeing you in the ring against the great Saul Canelo Alvarez. The undefeated Edgar Berlanga, ladies and gentlemen. And now we are with the great Saul Canelo Alvarez desde Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Saul, you have fought here on Mexican Independence Day weekend at least 5 times, but now that you are doing it again, what does this mean to you?
No, esto significa mucho para mí. Muchas gracias. Gracias por todo su apoyo, como siempre. Se los agradezco mucho y no me queda más que pagarles con una gran victoria el sábado.
Well, it means a lot to me, and I'm really appreciative of all of you out here. The only way I can repay you all is with a victory this Saturday night.
What did you take away from your final stare down with Edgar Berlanga?
No, No tengo mucho que decir. Estoy listo para el sábado para demostrar con hechos. Lo que sí te tengo que decir es que estoy seguro que él se va a enfrentar a alguien muy diferente a lo que está acostumbrado.
Look, I don't have much to say about Berlanga anymore. What I can tell you is that he's about to face someone that's very, very different from what he's accustomed to.
He's saying he's going to knock you out. What is your prediction for tomorrow night against Edgar Berlanga?
It's very easy to say, but he's going to find out Saturday night. It's going to be something different.
And finally, Saul, what do you want to tell all the fight fans that'll be watching around the world, especially the Mexican fight fans that have supported you from the very beginning, because Mexico will be here in Las Vegas?
Muchas gracias a todos por su apoyo. Los espero el sábado. Mañana va a ser una gran pelea para todos ustedes y que viva México, cabrones!
Thank you very much, everyone, for your support. It's going to be a party, a great fight tomorrow. And viva México, cabrones!
The unified super middleweight champion of the world from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Saul Canelo Alvarez.
What a great atmosphere outside of T-Mobile Arena. Imagine what it's going to be like in 24 hours inside T-Mobile Arena when it's Canelo versus Berlanga. Hey, let's check in downstairs with Large, whose guest is almost as tall as he is.
Hey guys, I'm standing here with probably one of the best boxing promoters in the world. Just ask him, Eddie Hearn. Oh. Eddie, you've been on the Mexican side of a lot of these promoters with Canelo Alvarez, and you've had the crowd behind you. How's it feel this time around to be here with this young Puerto Rican gentleman with this crowd seemingly against you?
Listen, in the past it's been Viva Mexico, cabrones. What's Saturday is Yo Soy Boricua.
Yo Soy Boricua, yeah.
Viva Puerto Rico, puñeta. That's how we say it.
Viva Puerto Rico, Pineda.
Absolutely. How you feeling, champ? With all this kind of animosity coming towards you, the hate, are you feeding on it? How are we feeling about it?
Give me more.
Yeah, give me more?
One more.
Any final thing to say to all your fans, all Puerto Rican fans back in Brooklyn and New York, everybody here and all around the world before we step in the ring?
I love you guys, man. All the haters, I love y'all more, man. Everybody that's out here, you know, it's time to turn the tables. You know, I'm the underdog. I'm the guy that everybody's looking past. But y'all going to be for a rude awakening tomorrow night, man.
And then as a promoter, any final words before we get this thing on?
You know what? Just seize the moment. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. You've dreamed of it your whole life. Tomorrow night, you give it your all, and you make history.
Absolutely fantastic. Best of luck to you guys. Back to you, boys.
Thank you, Large. And we have stars up here as well. Of course, the Latin Snake, Sergio Mora, and Ariel Helwani. Welcome, my friend. We'll get back to talking about Canelo and Berlanga for just a minute. But you have an announcement to make, and let me know if I'm wrong, but today feels like it could be the biggest day career-wise in your whole life.
Oh, yes. First of all, great to be back with you guys. What an atmosphere. This is amazing. I'm feeling Edgar, by the way. I'm feeling something out of him, but we're not here to talk about that. So much exciting things going on. There's a lot of big news in the world of combat sports with this event, another event down the road, big BKFC news for DAZN as well. But I have the biggest news of them all. I'm the breaking news guy, and I'm here to exclusively announce that myself and my good friend Ade Oladipo, one of the very best in the business, in my opinion, one of the best minds as far as the sweet science is concerned, we are having our own show on DAZN. Ade versus Ariel. Ade and Ariel. Ariel and Ade. The Double A show. We're still workshopping it, but every week, Tuesday nights, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 in the UK, live and exclusively on DAZN.com and the DAZN app. We will be debating, talking all things boxing. Ade and Ariel, in addition to this big news that we announced earlier with myself and Yahoo, the Uncrowned Era, Ade and DAZN now a part of the team as well, an extended member of the family. I am so psyched. I think Ade is amazing. We've been dreaming about this, one of my best friends in the business, and I can't wait to spar with him next week for our first episode, live from London, right before the big AJ versus Dubois card. How about that, guys? How about that? Maybe you guys will come on and grace us with your presence.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank
Ariel
you.
and Ade and Ariel, a double A show.
Well, listen, he's grossly overpaid when he does the underpaid when he does the Chris Mannix podcast. You want to try and pitch to make it Ade, Ariel, and
Ade, Ariel, and
the
Mora.
Mexican.
Yeah, we need a Mexican in there because Mannix isn't paying us.
talk to my people.
We're
making deals left and right here. Can't wait. Can't wait.
We've got more big news as well, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of BKFC, bare knuckle fighting, it is coming to DAZN on a 3-year deal, up to 24 events annually. What does this mean for BKFC and for DAZN?
Listen, the little engine that could. There was a time where people like myself thought, you know what, BKFC, this is, I don't know. Does it have the legs? Does it have the backing? Are the athletic commissions behind it? Now, what Dave Feldman and Conor McGregor have been doing over the past few years, Conor just joining a few months ago, has been nothing short of amazing. They are on fire. They are one of the best stories in combat sports, if you ask me. And now, all of a sudden, they've linked up with the best platform as far as combat sports is concerned, DAZN. It's a match made in heaven. The debut is next month. They've got big shows coming up in very unique venues. Marbella they're going to in a bullfighting ring.
Spain, yeah.
If you've never seen BKFC, it's one of the most action-packed, fun events out there, promotions out there. I think it's fantastic, and I can't wait for the debut.
Ariel explained it pretty well, but let's put some pictures behind it. Here's a look at BKFC coming to DAZN.
Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. We're bringing you the most explosive fights in the world. This is exactly what we thought this fight would be right here. Oh my God! Let's go! All right. We got some fight right here.
This is like a sport like no other.
There is no show in the world like the BKFC.
Multi-year broadcast partnership. Sergio, I want to get your thoughts on bare knuckle fighting. A lot of former fighters, most notably Austin Trout, they've made the switch and they like it. How do you feel about it?
Well, I have two former opponents that actually had success on bare knuckle, Ishe Smith and Alfredo Angulo, in a great fight Angulo had. But they know how to box. They know how to fight. They know how to turn their punches a lot more. But with those small gloves, I mean, hand injuries are very difficult.
There are no gloves. What are you talking about? It's called bare knuckle.
No, they cover the back of their knuckle, and it's vicious, man. It really is vicious, but it's gaining popularity. I'm a fan of it, especially with boxers having success, like you mentioned, Austin Trout and many others. Paulie Malignaggi had.
Yeah.
Well,
he lost.
Yeah, but he lost, but he had the guts to actually do it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for this job, I would probably do it.
Would you do it?
That's breaking news.
Have one fight? Who would you fight in bare knuckle?
Give me some names.
You weigh 190 pounds,
I
by
would
the
do
way.
it. I would do it. I'll tell you who I won't fight.
Who?
Daniel Jacobs.
All right, let's turn our attention back to the main event tomorrow night. Ariel, we just got you up here. Edgar Berlanga obviously believes in himself.
Yes.
Canelo does not believe that Edgar believes in himself, calling him a piece of cake, and then he's going to punish him like he's never been punished before.
Yeah, and Las Vegas doesn't seem to believe in him either. Like, he's a massive underdog. Listen, I think he's a live dog. I think he has a puncher's chance. You were just saying, the eyes never lie. I was impressed with him. He does not seem intimidated by the moment. He doesn't seem like he's here to just be a participant. You know, we'll find out in the early portion of the fight tomorrow night, but I felt like Munguia, he was there, but he wasn't quite there. To be on the level, in front of the bright lights, to be on the same stage as Canelo. I feel like this young man who has been manifesting this fight, talking about this fight, even when people were laughing at him, you want to fight Canelo? Who are you? You don't even have 20 fights on your record. Now here he is. He's put it all into existence. I think he has a chance. Do I go as far as to say he pulls off the upset? No, but I think he does a lot better than people think he will.
Well, you know, Evel Knievel thought he could jump the Grand Canyon. If you asked him before he took off on that rocket ship, he's like, of course I'm going to make it.
Am I crazy?
Evel Knievel always crashed and almost died.
But he still thought he would do it.
Puncher's chance?
Is he about to be Edgar?
No puncher's chance. If it happens, there will be one of the greatest upsets in boxing history. That's how big of a favorite Canelo Alvarez is, because Berlanga is not on the championship level. He hasn't faced the champions that Canelo's faced. Canelo has more championship fights than Berlanga has fights. He has more knockouts than Berlanga has fights. I mean, everything is on Canelo.
But that's in the past.
That's in the past, but he's still one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. So look, will I want to see Berlanga go out in a blaze of glory? Yes. Go out on his shield.
Please.
Go out on your shield. You talk the talk, now you fight the fight. Walk the walk against one of the best fighters in the world. That's how you can get everyone's respect.
You know, a lot of people believe that Canelo might be in trouble in his last fight. Very similar style, Jaime Munguia, both bigger than Canelo, longer. He didn't seem to be able to find any success. Where can Berlanga find the success that he couldn't?
Well, if anything, I thought some people, and I think there is some backing to this, that Canelo was kind of carrying Munguia a little bit. I agree with Sergio. just go out in a blaze of glory, man. Don't be consumed by the moment, because here's the thing. Even if you lose, if you die on your shield, so to speak, you've gained the respect of the fight community, and you'll be back. There was once a time where a young Canelo fought Floyd Mayweather, right? You'll be back. But if you come out here and don't throw punches and are succumbed by the moment and the bright lights intoxicate you, no one's going to respect you. And they're going to say all the things that you said leading up to it was nonsense, and you're going to have 10 more fights before we believe in you again. So please, Edgar, like what he just said there with Large and Eddie, I love that energy. Bring it on. Let me be the bad guy. Let me be the heel. I'm going to shock the world. But you have to back it up. How many times have we heard people say it and then not show up? I think this young man is going to show up. If he doesn't, then he's going to have to answer for a lot of questions.
Well, look at Munguia just lost. No one's saying he's looks terrible now, and his career's not going to be revived. Charlo, on the other hand, he's getting endless grief because he did not fight to win, and you can tell.
It's a great example. You have to back it up. And so just fight fire with fire. There wasn't that long ago when people were saying Canelo's on the back end, right? They were saying he's too old, he has too many miles on the tires and all that stuff. Now, I think the Munguia performance definitely got things, back on track. But if he could try to get in his face and suffocate him and use his power and use his size, I think he has a chance.
And quickly, it's somehow this weekend has turned into a boxing versus MMA rivalry with them at the Sphere. Who do you think wins this weekend?
I think everyone wins. I've never subscribed to the theory that you have to pick one or the other. I believe that there's a Venn diagram and there's an intersection in the middle, and there's plenty of people who live there. I live in there. And so I absolutely love the fact that they're doing this. It's very rare. We never see them going toe-to-toe. But I think if you're a fight fan and you're at home, get those 2 screens up there and just sit back and enjoy it all.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yes,
you got to start your new show. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And from one star to another, let's go downstairs and check in with Canelo Alvarez.
Just for 36 minutes.
No doubt.
He told me. Just for 36 minutes. No.
Hey, my friend. What's up, brother? How are you? Hey, I'm standing here with my good friend Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, so the weigh-in's done, all the press conferences are done. There's only one thing left to do, and your opponent is pretty confident he's going to knock you out. Everybody here thinks that he's dead wrong. How do you feel about it? What's this last little comment you're going to give us before you get it on?
Everybody is very confident till they get into the ring. It's very different when you get into the ring with me. So he's going to find out tomorrow night.
Did you feel almost bad for him, the way that these Mexican guys just jumped all over him, your crowd of fans here?
My people lost me, and we are Mexicans. So this is our Mexico.
It's a very good problem to have. Before you go, can we throw out a Viva Mexico Cabrones? I think I'm allowed to do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Viva Mexico Cabrones!
Thank you so much, my man. Up to you guys. Good luck tomorrow, brother.
Almost in sync. Almost in sync. The big fight happens live here tomorrow night. And it's big, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to size of the people watching the fight, nothing's going to compare to next week. 96,000 at Wembley Stadium.
Live on DAZN, September 21st, Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois fight for the IBF World Heavyweight title. AJ stands on the brink of history to become a 3-time world champion. Daniel Dynamite Dubois, Britain's silent powerhouse, stands in his way. An explosive night at Wembley awaits.
Who do you think you are? Daniel, don't disrespect me.
Joshua versus Dubois. Live on DAZN, September 21st. Buy now at DAZN.com.
It's a great time to be a boxing fan, no doubt about it. The magnitude of the fights we are getting. Sergio Mora, Daniel Jacobs. We will hear from him in just a minute, but right now we want to go back down. No, wait. Oh, we had Teofimo Lopez. He bailed. I guess Daniel Jacobs scared him, and he is a scary guy. You're wearing almost 200 pounds right now. Interesting comment that Canelo said. He said, listen, all these guys talk that talk, but when they get in the ring with me, they understand how different I am. When you got in the ring with him, did he feel different than what you thought?
Well, not necessarily. I think, my attributes and skill set was a little bit different, so I knew what I had based off of what he didn't do well, I could, really exploit. But as far as Canelo versus Berlanga, I do think that he has a lot of experience, the power, the skill set to be able to defeat him. And so if the mindset isn't right, in top tier when it comes to Edgar Berlanga that night, it's going to be an early night.
Daniel, but here's the difference. You have the amateur pedigree. You had the experience. You fought Golovkin. Then you fought Canelo. You had the resume.
Yeah.
Berlanga doesn't have the resume. So look, I hate to be the pessimistic guy here, but I'm saying what everyone's thinking. This guy is going to have to do something that no one believes he can do. He doesn't have the footwork that you had. He doesn't have the polished jab that you had. He has the power like you, but he's going to need a lot more than power to face Canelo Alvarez. Everything's against him.
You're going to say no one believes he can do it. That's because no one has done it before. No one has knocked down Canelo, much less knocked him out. And yet Berlanga promises that's what we're going to see in a historic night here from Vegas tomorrow. Here's your main fight card, the return of Rolly Romero in tough against Manuel-Jaimes, Caleb Plant, and Trevor McCumby. Sergio thinks this one could be over early. And then a very intriguing co-main event, Garcia-Lara versus the returning Danny Garcia, and the coup de grace, Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga for the unified World Super Middleweight Championship. For Daniel Jacobs, Sergio Mora, Ariel Helwani, Large, and our producer Chris Glanville, I'm Todd Grisham. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night.
Live on DAZN, September 14th, Canelo versus Berlanga. A legendary boxing rivalry, Mexico against Puerto Rico.
You're going to feel so much pain.
Canelo has been destructive through the division, with win after win after win.
You will see.
But a fearless Berlanga is ready and coming for all the belts, unbeaten and hungry. On Mexican Independence Weekend, Canelo versus Berlanga, September 14th, live on DAZN with English and Spanish commentary. Buy now at DAZN.com.